Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Naresh Mago and with me is Saira Mushtaba with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates centenary year celebrations of Malayalam daily Matrabhumi. Says, powered by talented youth, India is moving towards self-reliance. Prime Minister hails media for playing encouraging role in popularizing Swachh Bharat, Yog, fitness and Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. Centre advises all states and union territories to focus on aggressive and sustained genome sequencing and intensified surveillance to curb COVID-19. Over 180 crore 97 lakh doses of COVID vaccine administered in the country under nationwide vaccination drive. Recovery rate stands at 98.73%. India extends $1 billion concessional credit facility to Sri Lanka. 14th Annual India-Japan Summit to be held tomorrow. Festival of Colors, Holi is being celebrated throughout the country. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet the people on the occasion. And in badminton, Lakshya Sen to face Lu Guangchu of China in men's singles quarterfinals of All England Championships in Birmingham today. As we start the bulletin, we appeal to our listeners to stay safe from COVID-19 by following these 4 simple steps. Get fully vaccinated, wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today inaugurated the year-long celebrations of the centenary year of Malayalam daily Matrabhumi through video conferencing. Speaking at the function, the Prime Minister paid tribute to all the leading personalities in the journey of the newspaper and said that the paper was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and was born to strengthen India's freedom struggle.
Inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's ideals, Matrubhumi was born to strengthen India's freedom struggle. Matrubhumi is a key part of the glorious tradition of newspapers and journals founded all across India to unify the people of our nation against colonial rule. If we look back at our history, several greats have been associated with some or the other paper. Lokmanya Tilak nurtured Keshri and Maratha. Gopal Krishna Gokhale ji was associated with Hitwad. Prabuddha Bharat was associated with Swami Vivekanand. When we remember Mahatma Gandhi, we also remember his birth in Young India, Navjivan and Harijan.
The Prime Minister said that the people of this generation did not get an opportunity to sacrifice their lives during the freedom struggle, but this Amrit Kal gives us the opportunity to work towards a strong, developed and inclusive India.
If Matrubhumi was born during India's freedom movement, the centenary celebrations are taking place when India is making Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We did not have the opportunity to sacrifice our lives during the freedom struggle or for Swaraj. However, this Amrit Kal gives us the opportunity to work towards a strong, developed and inclusive India. For any nation to develop, making good policy is one aspect. But to enable the policies to succeed and to ensure that large-scale transformation take place, active participation from all walks of society is needed.
The Prime Minister elaborated on the positive impact of the media on the campaigns of New India. He gave the example of Swachh Bharat mission, where every media house took up this mission with great sincerity. Mr. Modi said media has played a very encouraging role in popularizing yoga, fitness and Beti Bachao Beti Padhao.
The media played a critical role. In these years gone by, I've seen the positive impact the media can play. The example of the Swachh Bharat mission is well known. Every media house took up this mission with great sincerity. Likewise, the media has played a very encouraging role in popularizing yoga, fitness and Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. These are subjects beyond the domain of politics and political parties. They are about making a better nation in the coming years.
The Prime Minister suggested that media can amplify the efforts of highlighting the lesser-known events of the freedom struggle and the unsung freedom fighters and places associated with the struggle. Similarly, newspapers can be a great way to give a platform for the upcoming writers from non-media background and promote regional languages in areas where they are not spoken. Exhorting Atmanirbhar Bharat, the Prime Minister said, powered by India's talented youth, our nation is moving towards Atmanirbharta or self-reliance.
Today's day and age, the world has many expectations from India. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit our shores, it was speculated that India would not be able to manage things well. The people of India proved these critics wrong. We used the last 2 years to improve the health of our society and the health of our economy. For 2 years, 80 crore people got access to free ration. 180 crore doses of vaccines have been administered in a time when many nations are unable to overcome vaccine hesitancy. The people of India have shown the way. Powered by India's talented youth, our nation is moving towards Atmanirbharta or self-reliance.
Mr. Modi said it has helped the youth of India to move towards self-reliance. The Prime Minister said the core of this principle is to make India an economic powerhouse that caters to domestic and global needs.
At the core of this principle is to make India an economic powerhouse that caters to domestic and global needs. Unprecedented reforms were brought in which will boost economic progress. Production-linked incentive schemes were introduced in different sectors to encourage local enterprise. India's startup ecosystem had never been more vibrant. Youngsters from tier 2, tier 3 towns and even villages are doing excellent work.
Mr. Modi said PM Gati Shakti is going to make infra creation and governance more seamless.
India is leading the world in the field of technological advancement. In just the past 4 years, the numbers of UPI transactions have increased over 70 times. This shows the eagerness of our people to embrace positive changes. We fully understand the importance of next generation infrastructure. Rupees 110 lakh crore are being spent on a national infrastructure pipeline. PM Gati Shakti is going to make infra creation and governance more seamless.
The Centre has advised all states and union territories to focus on aggressive and sustained genome sequencing and intensified surveillance and keep an overall vigil on the COVID-19 situation. It has asked to observe all precautions and not let the guard down while resuming the economic and social activities. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has written a letter to Chief Secretaries and Administrators of all states and UTs in this regard. He said resurgence has been observed in COVID-19 cases across Southeast Asia and some countries of Europe. Mr. Bhushan emphasized that there should be continued focus on the five-fold strategy, that is, test, track, treat, vaccination, and adherence to COVID-appropriate behavior. More than 180 crore 97 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 15 lakh 77,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, a total of 2,528 new cases were reported in the country. India's active caseload currently stands at 29,181 and it is at 0.07%. The recovery rate is currently at 98.73%. The ministry said a total of 3,997 people have recovered in the last 24 hours and the total recoveries touched over 4 crore 24 lakh 58,000. The weekly positivity rate currently stands at 0.4%, while the daily positivity rate is also at 0.4%. A total of 78 crore 18 lakh COVID tests have been conducted in the country so far. In the last 24 hours, more than 6 lakh 33,000 tests were conducted.
Over 183 crore 27 lakh vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far. The vaccines have been given through the central government's free of cost channel and through direct state procurement category. The Health Ministry said over 17 crore 22 lakh balance and unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and union territories. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will attend Central Reserve Police Force CRPF's 83rd Raising Day Parade in Jammu tomorrow. Mr. Shah will address the CRPF's annual 83rd Raising Day Parade at Maulana Azad Stadium, Jammu. This is for the first time that the CRPF's Raising Day Parade is going to be held outside New Delhi. Following the parade, the Home Minister is scheduled to chair a high-level security review meeting to be participated by the top brass of police, army, paramilitary forces and intelligence agencies.
You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates centenary year celebrations of Malayalam daily Mathrubhumi. Says, powered by talented youth, India is moving towards self-reliance. Prime Minister hails media for playing encouraging role in popularizing Swachh Bharat, Yoga, fitness and Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Centre advises all states and union territories to focus on aggressive and sustained genome sequencing and intensified surveillance to curb COVID-19. Over 180 crore 97 lakh doses of COVID vaccine administered in the country under the nationwide vaccination drive. Recovery rate stands at 98.73%. India extends $1 billion concessional credit facility to Sri Lanka. 14th Annual India-Japan Summit to be held tomorrow. Festival of Colours, Holi, is being celebrated throughout the country. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet the people on the occasion. And in badminton, Lakshya Sen to face Lu Guangxu of China in men's singles quarterfinals of All England Championships in Birmingham today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
India has extended a $1 billion concessional credit facility to Sri Lanka. The signing ceremony took place in Delhi yesterday in the presence of the visiting Sri Lankan Finance Minister Basil Rajapakse, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, among others. This will be used for importing food, medicine, and other essential items from India. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said, India has always stood with the people of Sri Lanka and will continue to extend all possible support at this juncture. He said India is cognizant of the economic difficulties that the country is facing. He said both sides understand the benefit of closer economic engagement. The 14th India-Japan Annual Summit will be held tomorrow. At the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida will be undertaking an official two-day visit to New Delhi beginning tomorrow for the annual summit. Briefing the media in New Delhi, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said this will be the first meeting between the two leaders. He said India and Japan have multifaceted cooperation within the ambit of their special strategic global partnership. The summit will provide an opportunity for both sides to review and strengthen bilateral cooperation in diverse areas, as well as exchange views on regional and global issues of mutual interest so as to advance partnership for peace, stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region and beyond.
The Festival of Colours, Holi, is being celebrated throughout the country today. Holi signifies the victory of good over evil and marks the onset of the spring season. Our Lucknow correspondent takes a look at Holi celebrations in Uttar Pradesh.
The extravaganza of colors is being celebrated in a unique manner in Mathura and Vrindavan cities. Whole city is submerged into the festivity of Holi with chants of bhajans, dance, colors, water, flowers and sweets. Different sections of society, including foreigners and widows, are also taking part in festivities since morning. Historic Ram Barat procession also carried out in Bareilly district, where hundreds of people from all walks of life took part in it. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Holi is also being celebrated in Madhya Pradesh with traditional fervour and great enthusiasm. Our Bhopal correspondent has filed this report.
Holi is being celebrated with traditional fervor after 2 years of the corona pandemic. However, celebrations are confined to the open spaces in the residential complexes and gardens, avoiding public places as the COVID-19 pandemic is not yet over. This time, people are mostly using natural and organic colors as well as being aware of environmental protection. The Bhagoria festival is also being celebrated across tribal districts of the state. Rashid Ahmed Khan, AIR News, Bhopal.
President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted the people on the occasion. The Prime Minister expressed hope that the Festival of Colours will bring happiness in everyone's life. And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
On the 18th of March 1919, the British government passed the Rollat Act, which gave powers to the police to arrest any person without any reason. The formal name of this legislation was Anarchy and Revolutionary Crimes Act of 1919.
The Act gave immense power to the colonial administration. Anyone suspected of nationalistic activities could be arrested for 2 years without a trial. The freedom fighters called the Act the Black Act, and it triggered outrage across the nation. Gandhiji called for satyagraha against the Rollat Act on the 6th of April 1919. The British administration came down heavily upon the people, and on the 13th of April 1919, Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place in Amritsar.
The violence and bloodshed sparked by the Rollat Act drew Mahatma Gandhi into the vortex of the freedom movement, and he launched the non-cooperation movement in 1920, opening a new chapter in India's fight for freedom.
We also remember Indian National Army's Colonel Gurbakhsh Singh Dhillon, who was born on the 18th of March 1914 near Amritsar, Punjab. Dhillon, along with other soldiers of the Indian National Army, General Shahnawaz Khan and Colonel Prem Kumar Sehgal, was charged with treason and waging war against the British Empire.
Dhillon joined the INA after the fall of Singapore to the Japanese in February 1942. When Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose took command of Azad Hind Fauj in 1944, Dhillon was made the commander of the Nehru Brigade. He was assigned the task of holding the Irrawaddy River in Burma. On 12th of February 1945, the INA defences along Irrawaddy were bombed by the Allied aircraft. Under severe bombardment and assault, the INA nevertheless managed to hold Irrawaddy. The other assault by the British opposite Nongju using motorboats was also repelled by the INA. However, INA could not hold for long in the face of sustained assault, and Dhillon had to eventually withdraw to Paghang.
Dhillon again was given the task of checking the Allied forces' advance to Chowk Badaun. Dhillon and his soldiers offered the strongest resistance against the British attacks. However, in April 1945, under furious assault from the British tanks and armoured vehicles, INA had to withdraw to Magwe.
As the INA trials of Dhillon, Shahnawaz and Prem Sehgal started, the naval ratings mutiny broke out. The armed forces, which the British used to enforce their authority over India, turned against them. On January the 4th, 1946, Dhillon was released along with Shahnawaz and Prem Sehgal after a long trial. Post his release, Gurbaksh Singh Dhillon spent his life at Shivpuri in Madhya Pradesh, where he passed away peacefully on February the 6th, 2006. We salute the great nationalist.
We also remember freedom fighter Kunji Lal Dubey, who was born on the 18th of March 1896 in the Narsinghpur district of Madhya Pradesh. Kunji Lal was influenced by freedom fighters Madan Mohan Malviya and N.C. Kelkar when he was studying law in Allahabad University.
Kunji Lal became a member of All India Congress Committee in 1937 and was the secretary of the reception committee during the 1939 Tripuri session of the Congress. In 1941, he was selected for the Satyagraha by Mahatma Gandhi, but was detained by the police and was sentenced to nearly 1 year of imprisonment. On his release in 1942, he participated in the Quit India movement and was jailed again, this time for a period of 2 years. In 1946, he was elected from Jabalpur in the assembly elections.
Post-independence, Kunji Lal Dubey was actively involved in politics and was selected to be the first Speaker of the Legislative Assembly of Madhya Pradesh. AIR News salutes the great nationalist.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
स्वाधीनता आंदोलन के दौरान भारतीय जनमानस को उद्वेलित कर स्वतंत्रता का अलख जगाने और मातृभूमि के प्रति सेवा, समर्पण और त्याग की ज्वाला प्रज्वलित कर देने वाले अमर गीतों पर आधारित विशेष कार्यक्रम आजादी के तराने सुनना न भूलें। FM गोल्ड 100.1 मेगाहर्ट्ज पर प्रत्येक शुक्रवार शाम 4:45 पर परिक्रमा कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत आजादी के तराने सिर्फ आकाशवाणी पर।
Indian-American public health expert Dr. Ashish Jha will take over as U.S. President Joe Biden's COVID-19 response coordinator next month. The White House announced yesterday that President Biden's COVID-19 coordinator Jeff Zients and his deputy Natalie Quillian are leaving the administration next month. Their departure comes as the White House is shifting its posture from one of confronting an emergency to nudging Americans back to normalcy as the nation learns to live with a less severe coronavirus that is likely to remain endemic. Dr. Jha is the Dean of the Brown University School of Public Health. In a statement, the U.S. President said, as they enter a new moment in the pandemic, executing on his national COVID-19 preparedness plan and managing the ongoing risks from COVID. Dr. Jha is the perfect person for the job. Russia has announced that it will not ask the UN Security Council to vote today on its draft resolution on humanitarian relief for Ukraine. Russia's UN ambassador Vasily Nebenzia yesterday said at a Security Council meeting that Russia is not withdrawing the resolution but decided not to seek a vote at this time because of unprecedented pressure from the Western nations on UN member states to oppose the measure. Nebenzia said Russia plans to go ahead with the Council meeting today to discuss again its allegations that there are U.S. military biological laboratories in Ukraine.
In badminton, World Championships bronze medalist Lakshya Sen will face Lu Guangxu of China in the men's singles quarterfinals of the All England Championships in Birmingham today. The 20-year-old stunned third seed Anders Antonsen of Denmark in straight games 21-16, 21-18 yesterday to progress to the last 8th stage. However, PV Sindhu, Saina Nehwal and Kidambi Srikanth crashed out of the tournament. In the men's doubles, the Indian pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty also entered the quarterfinals after defeating Mark Lamsfels and Marvin Seidel of Germany 21-7, 21-7.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will have a mainly clear sky. The temperature will move between 24 to 36 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 24 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 36 degrees. Chennai is likely to have a partly cloudy sky. The temperature will vary between minimum of 23 to a maximum of 37 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius and a maximum will be of around 35 degrees. Srinagar will have a partly cloudy sky with a possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Temperature will hover between 8 and 25 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have a mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 24 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 33 degrees. Leh is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with a possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The minimum and maximum temperatures will hover between 1 and 15 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have a generally cloudy sky with a possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Muzaffarabad will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The minimum temperature was 15 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 35 degrees. Visakhapatnam will have a partly cloudy sky with haze. The minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius. The maximum will be around 34 degrees. Hyderabad will have a partly cloudy sky with haze. Temperature will hover between 22 and 39 degrees. Guwahati will have haze. The temperature will hover between 18 and 35 degrees. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates centenary year celebrations of Malayalam daily Matrubhumi, says powered by talented youth, India is moving towards self-reliance. Prime Minister hails media for playing encouraging role in popularizing Swachh Bharat, Yog, fitness and Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Centre advises all states and union territories to focus on aggressive and sustained genome sequencing and intensified surveillance to curb COVID-19. Over 180 crore 97 lakh doses of COVID vaccine administered in the country under nationwide vaccination drive. Recovery rate stands at 98.73%. India extends $1 billion concessional credit facility to Sri Lanka. 14th Annual India-Japan Summit to be held tomorrow. Festival of Colors Holi is being celebrated throughout the country. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet the people on the occasion. And in badminton, Lakshya Sen to face Lu Guangxu of China in men's singles quarterfinals of All England Championships in Birmingham today. And with that, we end the Midday News.